I was like, this is not gonna work. I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. And then a year later or so, Kyle was DMing me, and here we are. I hit my first 2K day just about a
Hell yeah.
month ago. And I would have never thought that would have had normal, but I hit my winning product on my third one, and I have the same situation as me. Like, you can save all that money, and I always knew I was going to spend it on something, like invest it somewhere. And I
Yep.
didn't want to go to college.
Yep.
And I always thought dropshipping was a scam. Like, everybody was like making it sound super get rich quick, and
Yep.
Kyle was the only guy to be like, it's not going to be get rich quick, but it's
It
going
ain't
to
that
be
easy, but
get
it's
rich.
straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot quicker than any other route you might take.
Yeah. What's up, Cam?
What's up?
All right, guys. So for those of you that don't know, Cam's been a student inside of DropSkale, which is my coaching and consulting program for e-commerce businesses, specifically drop shipping. He's been a member for a couple of months now, and I wanted to just hop on because he's had a couple of awesome wins, and he's also had a couple of really tough challenges that he's been able to overcome. And so for whoever's watching this on the other side of the screen, whether you're in e-commerce or looking to get into drop shipping, you've been doing it for 5 years, you're a pro, doesn't matter. You're going to get a little bit of value out of this, but more importantly, just like understand realistically what dropshipping looks like with and without a coach, with and without a community of people that you can work with that are kind of on a like-minded mission, and also just giving you a little bit of motivation for when you do come across certain obstacles, not bitching out and learn how to overcome them. Because Cam has shown how to do that and how to show up and be resilient. And so, yeah, that's my little intro to you. But do you want to give a little bit of a background of what you were doing prior to stumbling across drop shipping?
Yeah, so pretty much just like landscaping, kind of, I've
Hmm.
been doing that since I was a little kid, and I kind of branched out and made my own little business. So, like living with my parents, a lot of people kind of have the same situation as me. Like, you can save all that money, and I always knew I was going to spend it on something, like invest it somewhere. And I
Yep.
didn't want to go to college. So that was kind of like my route. I had like a few grand saved up, and Kyle was hitting me up, and I was like asking you so many questions, giving you like the usual skepticism.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, man, if I'm just not gonna go to college, I don't know like what I'm gonna do, like put my money towards, so I might as well do drop shipping.
Yep.
And I always thought drop shipping was a scam. Like, everybody was like making it sound super get rich quick, and
Yep.
Kyle was the only guy to be like, it's not going to be get rich quick, but it's
It
going
ain't
to
that
be
easy, but
get
it's
rich.
straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot quicker than any other route you might take.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started out um, just watching all the courses, and then asking tons and tons of questions. That's me, always asking questions.
I think
But
I think if I let's say I spent a couple hours every single day on like just helping people, at least in the DMs on Slack, that's where we like house all of our communication. Probably half of it was with you in the beginning.
yeah, and every now and then, if I have an obstacle, it starts to be me again, really,
Yep.
to be honest. But yeah, honestly, uh, so I started out with leggings was my first product, and it took me, I'm really slow, so it took me about a month to get the leggings up and running because I was a perfectionist. By the way, I
Yep.
don't recommend doing that. But I learned so much whenever it failed, and I was like,
Yep.
man, I would have failed earlier. But if you dedicate some time and really give drop shipping a try, it's like a really good business model.
Yeah.
And every every obstacle you have, every question you have will be answered, and using Kyle is like a shortcut.
Yeah, I
It's
appreciate
really, I
that.
highly
So
recommend.
so like before you had even came across me and all the stuff that we do, like you knew about drop shipping. What did you actually done up until the point of us talking to each other? Like had you launched a product, had you built a store, had you like really done anything yet, or you were just kind of still getting a pulse check on all the content on YouTube and how this stuff works?
Yeah, the only thing I ever did with drop shipping was I watched this guy. I don't remember his name, but he owns Beyond Braids, and I watched his YouTube. It was like an 8-hour course, get rich quick, blah blah blah. Super outdated. It was like
Yeah.
2 years old by the time I watched it,
Right.
which was like a couple years ago.
Yep.
And I tried that, and I was like researching products. I was like gonna order these random knives to my house, shoot it on my shitty phone, and like I was like, this is not gonna work. I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. And then a year later or so, Kyle was DMing me, and here we are. I hit my first 2K day just about a
Hell yeah.
month ago, and I would have never thought that would have happened.
Yeah. So with the knives, like you ordered it, you took pictures of it. Did you like build a site? Did you run ads, or you were just trying to like do TikTok organic? Like what did that look like?
By that time, Shopify had like a trial thing going on. So I was able to get Shopify for probably like 14 days.
Hmm.
And I tried that, and then like by the 14-day mark, I did not have it together. I had a really crappy website, and I didn't even know how URLs worked. So I
Yep.
didn't even get a URL up. I would have just been like posting organic TikToks and with a long Shopify URL or something. I
Yep.
wouldn't have not what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere
So
to say the
but
least.
like you hadn't ran a single ad in your life, right? Like you didn't know how Facebook ads worked. You didn't know how like
No, no, no.
built. You didn't know AI landing pages existed, or like how to do proper product research, or really like anything like that. You just saw like that another guy recommended this product, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna like make the website, order the product, take some videos." But then it's like, but then what, right? And
Yeah.
that's the dilemma that most people find themselves in.
Yeah, and even if you're somewhat experienced and you're like kind of stuck, like Kyle knows all that crap too.
I
So,
do. I've
yeah.
been around the block and back for the last 7 years. So with so when we first started working together, I remember it took a while to get that first product launch, but uh, generally, like what we aim for is like 20 to 25 product tests where you have this constant feedback loop and you're researching a ton and you're building different types of landing pages, you're creating different offers, you're testing different ad creatives, maybe even some slight variations of the ad strategies that we run just so that you can learn and you can kind of build data and you can build up this like drop shipping tuition or this like market tuition where it's just the amount that you have to invest to know what the heck you're doing from a surface level. And then once you break through all that noise, which 90% of people don't ever see that part, maybe 95%, they don't even get to three product tests, let alone like 20, right? They don't get to they don't spend $500, let alone 5 grand on ads to really determine what things work and what doesn't work. So again, with that in mind, it usually takes us 20, 25 products to find one that's like profitable, that has legs, that can make back the investment in the previous, 20, 25 product tests. How many products did you have to test to land on that one that was like profitable?
Well, it's funny you ask me, Kyle, because I'm like I don't want anyone like watching this to think that this is like normal, but I hit my winning product on my third one. And if you put in like super quality time like I did, being like a perfectionist, I guess like you can get more lucky, but I do agree with what Kyle preaches is like just banging them out back to back. Just learn, learn, learn. And that's what I should have done. But I did win on my third one, and I'm still working on scaling that right now.
Yeah.
And it's doing well.
Yeah, I would say like what's cool is you have to find a good marriage between the two, right? So you really can't get away with you're not going to find one product, bet the farm on that and have that take off. It's very rare unless like you raise a bunch of money and you hire the best agencies and the best, advertisers, content creators, etc., web designers, and you basically have other experienced people build it for you. But that could literally be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. We don't have that
Yeah.
kind of money, right? So we're like, we need to do that ourselves. So without all of those resources, it's like it's not wise to just bet the farm on one, two, three products and just pray that it works and just spend a month on each of them. It's not as practical. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense to launch like 10 products a day and just spray and pray and hope that something sticks, right? Most people ask me though, if you had to pick between one or the other, which would you prioritize? And for me, it's always going to be quantity at the end of the day when it comes to like product testing, because through quantity, you learn more and you figure out what quality looks like, right? Because you think you
Yeah.
know what quality means, and you spend a month on a landing page and a month sourcing these ad creatives and getting custom content and all this stuff, but like you don't have any point of reference as to what quality even looks like what good data looks like, what bad data looks like, what good a good response from your customers versus a bad response. And so that's why I think it's really important to like for most people to find a good marriage between the two. But I could just tell like with your attention to detail, like when the opportunity presented itself, you just jumped on it, right? Like the
Yeah,
current product that you have, it
for
was one
sure.
that was shared with a lot of different people, and you were the one to jump on it and actually take action. And everyone
Yeah,
else looked at that and they didn't see the good in it. They didn't see how it could have performed well. They weren't willing to take the risk on it. You were like, I got nothing to lose, right? Let me try it out,
yeah.
see if it works. And it crushed, right? Like
And that's the
multiple,
benefit. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, being in Kyle's community, you can learn on your own and like ask Kyle questions. I was testing two products that I chose. Some of them were like slightly recommended by Kyle, but also like if Kyle's throwing a product randomly while he's at the airport or something, he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta send this to the inner circle," and I'm like, nobody's emoji reacting to this, nobody's considering it.
Yep.
I'm taking this, I'm running it up, and I'm building a landing page. And at that time, it was perfect because we were using a really cool tool to like pump out some product pages quickly, and
Hmm.
that cut out 4 to 8 hours of work for me, really. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on how detailed you are, but like
Yep.
copy and pasting some chat GPT prompts, like even though it's chat GPT, it does take a while to do all that.
Yeah.
And that tool really helped. And it started winning the second day. I hit like 4 ROAS the second day. The first day got no sales, but it was like out of nowhere. I was like, what the heck, you know?
Yep. Yeah. So
It
like,
was cool.
so like, so the first product page you ever built probably took you like a month to actually get like fully functional, like to be able to process an order, have the shipping set up properly, all this stuff. And like we have systems in place where you can pretty much set up your webs. You can outsource the creation of the website within about 72 hours for like $100, $150, right? And then secondarily for your ongoing product pages, once you have that foundation in place, like you can pretty much for free when you think about the cost of like the AI building softwares, pretty much for free you can pump out a landing page in about 5 minutes, right? And it really takes about a minute, but then it takes 4 minutes to tweak the pricing, maybe add some better images, tweak the copy a little bit. But like fundamentally, you can have a landing page built in a couple of minutes, and that saves so much time. Like if that existed 6, 7 years ago when I got into e-commerce, I can't even tell you how many more products I would have been able to test it, more winners, how much more money I would have been able to make, how much money I would have been able to save on product page builders that I had to pay, like people, right? Or how
Yeah.
much time that it took me to build them. So like I think that in of itself is invaluable. Just like knowing how to build a good website and then also knowing that AI can build ongoing product pages for you, hands off. And then you use our creative methods of getting scrappy and with sourcing existing footage and also inching towards getting that custom content. And that's kind of the phase that we're currently on is like helping you acquire some custom content, working with content creators, having like
Yeah.
a project management system in place, which is that's when you go from, that 40 to 100K a month run rate to like 250, 500K a month, a million a month, right? We've been there, we've done that. And like all it is a creative game at that point. And I remember the first creative that crushed it for you. You were like, I have no idea how that worked or why it worked, but I just emulated a style of an ad that worked well for my competitors, right? Like fundamentally, that's what
Mhm.
you did.
Actually, it was far less effort than that. I mean, it was quite literally copy and paste a random viral organic ad
Yeah.
and I ran it up on Facebook. And it seems like I was the first one to run it up on Facebook. That's why
Hmm.
it was doing so well. And the proof of concept with this organic ad was astronomical.
Hmm.
Like I was seeing random accounts like copy and pasting it organically on TikTok and
Mm.
it would
That's when you
hit
know.
5 to 15 mil. Yeah. Like an invincible ad. It
Yeah.
was like perfectly crafted by this random guy and he doesn't even know why it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I mean, a lot of great stuff, a lot of fun things you've learned, a lot of ups, but also a couple of downs, right? Like you experienced a lot of issues with Facebook. I remember like as soon as you hit that winter, I think it was maybe a couple weeks in, maybe about a month in, month and a half, you started experiencing some Facebook difficulties. What did that look like for you and what does that look like today?
Yeah, so that was about probably like a month and a half in, and I just randomly got hit with a ban. It wasn't like a warning or anything, and it was like such a harsh ban. It wasn't even appealable. Like I couldn't appeal it. I was getting
Yep.
on with agents for like a week,
Yep.
and eventually somebody courteous enough was like, "Hey, the team at the very back end of things already made a decision. You're done." And I was like,
You're
"Okay,
nuked. Yeah.
well, yeah." And then there we go. That's a huge obstacle in that situation. If I didn't have Kyle, I would have been out of it. I'd been like drop shipping. I mean, I made my money. I'm done. I'm gonna go do crypto now. But
Yep.
no, yeah. So now Kyle has a plan for everything pretty much. So I started with an agency that he recommended and proxies, anti-detect browsers, like all
Yep.
that kind of route. And I would not have known how to do that without Kyle.
It's
And
tough,
yeah,
like knowing how
yeah.
to structure that stuff properly. Like there's a lot of scattered resources online, but I think the fact that I'm able to just bring it all into one place and be like, hey, I've done this like 10 times before for 10 different, Facebook profiles and structures. And I've had a lot of them that have gotten restricted because I didn't set it up properly. I've had IP slip. I've had, profiles that I couldn't submit a legitimate and a valid photo ID for that I wasn't able to get it back into. And it took a lot of trial and error and paying people a lot of money to learn some of these skills back in the day, right? And so this is my way of kind of paying it forward so that what might have taken me like 6 months to figure out in the past of like getting a profile nuked and having a winning product quote unquote die and then being able to finally relaunch it hopefully can be narrowed down into like a 6 week window or less, right? I mean, at this point, you probably have the skills to where you can get something back up and running in like 6 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Like, because
sure.
fundamentally, like we have our kind of warm up protocols for for new profiles and accounts and stuff like that. But like, if something were to happen, that might have taken you 30 days to get back up and running. Now it might take you 7 days because you have that skill and you kind of learn from everything that you're doing. So, but like, moral of the story is when a roadblock comes, you've now become equipped with the skill of being able to solve that problem and overcome it instead of just throwing in the towel and being like, oh, well, I guess, I had my fun. Let me go pivot to something else. That's more sustainable. Because in reality, like this is sustainable if you're a problem solver and if you have like any sense of like resourcefulness, right? Where you ask questions, you show up, right? Like you're always on like most of our inner circle coaching calls, for example, which is when we get together with everyone in our community. And I can't tell you how many people like just don't show up to those. And they're the most valuable points of communication with me personally and with other people, right? Because you've learned a lot from me, but you've also learned a ton from other people inside the community, right? Like you've built
Yeah.
friendships where you're able to communicate with people and they test a product and you're like, that worked really well for you. How should I structure this? Do you have feedback on my landing page, on my offers, and all of this stuff? Because like I know you get sick of hearing my voice every day in the voice notes. So you're like, let me get perspective from other people, and you wouldn't really have the opportunity to do that from people who are learning the same strategies, who are executing maybe they're a couple of months ahead of you in terms of their timeline of like having tested products, finding winners, etc. But like, how has that been just being able to communicate with other people, doing the same thing, not being in like a Discord with 1,015-year-olds that don't know what the hell they're doing and are learning the wrong
Yeah.
information, right?
Yeah, it's hard to create a relationship in a Discord server like that,
Yeah.
and to ask questions and then talk to the same guy the next day. Those
Yep.
people are super busy or they're just not committed. It's one or the other. And
Hmm.
Kyle's community, it's more narrowed down. It's like people have their obstacles, and like for example, I knew a kid that joined a couple weeks after me. He didn't find his winner, but he faced a lot of Facebook issues behind the scenes. And I had not done that. I had just had a winner.
Yep.
And whenever I had Facebook issues, I had a close connection with that kid, and he really helped me out with a lot of Facebook backend issues.
Yep.
And just for example, stuff like that, it just saves so much time.
Yeah.
Like time is so valuable when you're trying to grind products out like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll never forget like we I had two people that I was working with where one individual they had a winning product, but they had Facebook issues and they had PayPal issues, right? Now, for anyone listening to this, you're like, it sounds like you're talking about a lot of problems, a lot of issues. Yeah, welcome to business, right? Like it exists, and if you're an entrepreneur, like entrepreneurship or like an entrepreneur, that word is just synonymous with problem solver. So like if you're not ready to solve problems and to like eat shit for a little bit and figure it out, then it's probably not for you, right? But there was one guy who scaled up a product to about 3 to 4K a day, had PayPal issues in terms of like a 10% rolling reserve, which is not that bad, but it was enough to where like if your profitability is 20%, that's like half your profit, right? So it's tough on cash flow. And then also they were having some Facebook restrictions. And so they partnered up with someone who had a healthy PayPal, they had a healthy ad account, they had credit lines, so cash flow wasn't an issue. And they were able to partner up. And while neither of them individually would have been able to really thrive in their certain circumstances and conditions, they were able to meet up and they were able to join forces and build a wildly profitable business together that they were able to scale. And to this day, they're still operating it. And hopefully soon we're able to, I'm helping them kind of create a system where they can automate certain tasks and they can make it an exitable business, right? Because a lot of people don't think that there's value or there's enterprise value or exitable, sellable value of a company, right? But even Cam, like your business, you get custom content, you scale it up to 50, 100K a month in revenue, 20, 30K a month in profit. Like that's like 300 grand a year in profit. You can sell that for 3 to 5 times what your annual profit is, right? You get to 300 grand a year in profit. You could sell that for $1 million. Someone will write you a check for $1 million. If it's on an upward trend, you have some VAs in place, you outsourced a couple of tasks, and it's highly profitable and it's consistent. And you could totally do that in the next, 6, 9, 12 months. And people don't understand it. They're just like, oh, 300 grand. That's like, I'm making like a neurosurgeon salary. But to make 300 grand a year for the next 2 years, 3 years with a product that you've extended your product line for, and then to be able to exit for $1.5 million, that's life-changing money. And people don't
Oh
think
yeah.
about that light at the end of the tunnel, even if they're, not as profitable. Maybe you're only making 100, 150 grand a year, but you're consistent, you're running it for a long period of time. And let's not act like 150 grand a year is not a lot of money. Like that's a pretty good
Yeah.
amount. I think you can live a pretty comfortable life on that. But also just
Yeah.
having that thought in the back of your mind that like I can exit this business at any point in time. That's a really cool feeling. If you've gone through one of those before, it's kind of like I've sold a business before. I know that it can be really annoying, but it's totally worth it. On the flip side, I've had a winning product before. I've had many winning products, right? Someone who hasn't experienced a winning product, they don't really know what that feeling is like. They don't know what to expect. They don't understand what goes on around that. And it's kind of the same thing with an exit. So if you haven't experienced it, you're not really thinking of it. You're not thinking from a long-term perspective. Now that you've found a profitable product, you're that much hungrier to like find the next one or to expand your product line or to just scale this one as much as you can to learn what goes on in kind of the second and the third phase, right? Because you're just getting started, you're scratching the surface. And that's like, I think that's something a lot of people can take home and like learn with and run with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And if I wanted to go that route, if I wanted to scale up or like to those kind of numbers and like work on selling it, like I would be able to just reach out to you and you'd help me out for sure.
Yep.
And
That's
like
what I'm here for.
otherwise, like if I was doing this on my own, trying to sell my business, I do not know the first thing. It would start with a Google search. Like
Yep.
I wouldn't know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So I mean, from taking a month to launch the first product to hitting, a 2K a day plus winning product using an AI landing page builder and super low effort creative system to having a Facebook ban and problems that you thought were going to be business ending, and then you were able to get back up and running in a couple of weeks to now kind of having that next leg up on scale and probably scaling to 4 or 5K days soon pretty consistently, right? 150 grand a
Yeah.
month revenue business, probably about 20, 30 grand a month in profit. We're gonna have a lot of fun these upcoming months.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. It'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for jumping on. I just kind of wanted to uh, have some people get a glimpse into drop shipping, e-commerce, getting help. So I guess for anyone who's like on the fence, who's like, I don't know if it's worth paying someone to learn some of the things that they've maybe had to learn the hard way. I guess what would you say to people who are maybe on the fence of joining a community or a coaching program like this?
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Like, do you have a plan? Like that was me, like kind of like texting Kyle for like a week. It's like, what else am I gonna do? And then if I lose all my money putting it into product tests, what would I do? I would restart. So like I wouldn't go to college after that, you know? So like what else are you gonna do? Just like take that leap of faith because
What
life's
do you
too
have to
short.
lose? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
for
like,
sure.
it's also just like risk versus reward, right? Like we're not asking someone to buy $100,000 property in Ohio to try to like renovate it and then rent it out. And like, it's not like there's that type of money that has to be put behind this. Like I've had people get started with a $5,000 credit card and build that into a $60,000 a month profit business. Like it's just nuts. Like I can't think of many other
Yeah.
businesses that you can do that in, right? I mean, I think service-based businesses are really cool. If you want to get to like 5, 10 grand a month in profit, I think like mowing lawns, you could 100% do that, right? I mowed lawns when I was young and like it was cool, but I mean, you can only scale that so much and it can be really difficult. But when it comes to scalability that actually gives you like time freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, et cetera, all that fun stuff. I mean, I'm so glad that I stumbled across this business because there's very few businesses I think that would have been able to provide that to me and provide it to other people in such a scalable way, right? Like you've experienced what it's like making 5 grand, 10 grand in a single month in profit. Now knowing that you could literally just increase your ad budgets and test a few more creatives, and you can literally triple, quadruple, you could 10x that without having to put in 10 times the amount of hours of work, right? There's so much leverage in like paid media and in our advertising strategies and our creative systems that like you can go from working 2 hours a day to working 3 hours a day and go from making 10K a month to making 50 grand a month in profit, right? And this is like I can't think of many other businesses that allow you to do that, right? It's kind of insane
Yeah,
thinking about it.
for sure.
So
Yeah, as I've scaled this winter, really, and then thought about other business models with my buddy and just talking to it like about it with family, it's kind of broken. It's kind of a cheat code. Like it really doesn't make sense that I'm able to just pay for a Shopify subscription, buy a URL for $14 so a year, and then outsource a product that's already made. I don't even have to touch it, really. And and somebody else will buy it, and hundreds of other people will buy it.
and
And I
you don't
reap
have to
some
pack it,
profit.
you don't have to ship it, you don't have to film the ads yourself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah, for sure. And it's like it really is kind of crazy. And I would suggest like if you're trying to like build any brand or start a business of any kind, like you would start drop shipping, and that's
Yep.
like the easiest way to prove some concept
Yep.
for sure.
Agreed. I can't tell you how many products that I've had that failed that I got inventory for. And it took me multiple iterations of that to really like learn my lesson. And this was after I had made millions of dollars with the dropshipping model. I was like, you know what? Let me build a real brand, right? Let me build a brand that has inventory, that I have custom packaging, a custom formulation, whatever. And like honestly, more often than not, that has been more financially detrimental than any of the previous dropshipping brands that I ran up to millions of dollars profitably. Just because, like like we were saying before, as you wouldn't test two or three products and expect to like make tons and tons of money. It's the same thing with a D2C brand, right? You don't just take your first product iteration and buy thousands of units and throw up ads and just like pray and hope that it works because 9.5 out of 10 times it won't. Right. And so what I generally recommend is even if you do want to get inventory product, because like there's nothing wrong with that. I have some inventory based brands. You take the product that you want to run and you make some renderings, you make a product page, you get content for it with the samples you can bring in, you advertise it, right? You spend 500 bucks on ads. And like if it doesn't do well, you've only spent 500 bucks, right? But if
Yeah.
it doesn't do well and you've ordered 1,000 units of inventory and spent 20 grand, you're now out of the whole 20,500 dollars.
Yeah, it's
You
never
know?
been easier. I mean,
Yeah.
it's seriously never been easier. It's all done for you at this point. You just need to learn. Like Shopify makes it super easy to run a store on the front end and back end. And then uh you got the Facebook ads. They have like the lion's share of all the data,
Yeah.
really, and the targeting is
Pretty
really
much
good.
automated. Yeah.
Yeah, for cold traffic, it's like super well at targeting. And and then you got people outsourced that manufacture the product, store it, and ship it out for you, and they also offer custom
Packaging.
packaging. So it's
Yep.
like
Inserts.
you're not doing any of that on your own anymore. You
Yeah.
just need to learn how to market, and
So
that's really it.
let me ask you, I think an important question that's on a lot of people's mind, and then we'll wrap it up is, because a lot of these things are now more accessible, they're getting a little bit easier. What do you think the people that are within our ecosystem of DropScale and yourself, what is the competitive advantage that you think that you had that allowed this product to pop off in which someone else might not have had either the resources, the knowledge around it? Like if there's one or two skills that you think someone needs to have an edge or a competitive advantage to really win, what do you think that that is?
Oh, probably the offer, which you also helped me run the offer up, knowing like what offer speaks to people, and then just like building out the product page. We already talked about how we're able to bang out those so quickly,
Yeah.
and uh,
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
it's just really everything. Like I
I
can't
think
pinpoint it.
I think you nailed it. I think the first thing that came to your mind was the offer, right? It's the ability to select a product and to be able to position that product in a way that actually attracts a customer and that stands out from competitors that not a lot of people know how to do properly, right? And so while everyone is testing the same product and they're not running a super attractive and just client acquisition magnet funnel, right? If they're not doing that and they don't know how to position in a way that's like being mindful of consumer psychology and they don't know what goes into a winning offer or a winning product, right? When you have to be able to understand why people buy, you have to understand consumer psychology, and you have to understand how to position that product as if the customer believes that they need it, like that they need it to like survive, right? And they wouldn't live without it, even if it's just a pair of shoes, right? And how do you do that? You do that through the consumer psychological marketing that we always talk about. You do that through offer positioning, through how you structure a landing page, et cetera. But it really does come down to being able to pick the right product and craft the right offer around that in a way that even gets customers to raise their hand and say, I want this in the first place. Right. And I think that's
Yeah,
where our product research systems and our validation processes and our offer positioning tactics, I think that's what really gives us a competitive advantage over so many other people. And then as you'll get into discovering, once we get into the custom content game, the systems that we've built around our content acquisition systems when it comes to hiring creators, getting custom content, having editors create multiple variations of ads, and then properly testing that in a way that's like systematic. That's going to be the next thing that you're going to get exposed to. That's going to take you from 30, 50K a month to 150, 200K a month. And that I'm really excited for, right? So but
yeah,
before that happens, you need a product that you can even make these great offers and great creatives around, you know?
yeah. And I would say like the very beginning of the journey is overcoming that skepticism. Like once you overcome that, there's a whole world out there for you to learn and scale and so many brand possibilities and product possibilities to just change your life if you're really
Yep.
looking to own a business and make good profit. This is
Yep.
the way to do it.
Yeah, agreed. There's like softwares that we use that show you like the revenue that a store is doing, and I'll never forget the look on some of your guys' faces when I'm like, yeah, you see this product? Yeah, it's doing 150 grand a day, and I'm like, you don't think that
Yeah.
you can make 150 grand a month or 150 grand a year with this business model? That's
Yeah.
just a limiting belief issue, right? That's just like there's plenty of evidence, and now it's just like execution. That's all it is,
Yeah.
right?
Everybody can do what I have done.
Yep.
And I firmly believe that
Yep.
it's really easy to do all of this.
Yeah. Dude, thank you for coming on. I know this was a little bit longer than what we anticipated, but there's a lot to unpack, and there's going to be a hell of a lot more to unpack probably 3 to 6 months from now. So maybe we'll do a little follow up on this. But yeah,
Okay,
thank you for
cool.
coming on.
Yeah,
Let's take this product and an extended set of products that we can expand our product line into to the moon, and we'll go from there. And I hope everyone who's
that'll
watched
be
this
awesome.
got a ton of value out of this. And if you did, feel free to hit me up and be Cam's buddy in scaling his brand so that you can learn all the stuff that you need to from him, from myself, and so that you don't have to go this crazy wild route alone, you know?
Yep. And
Yep.
I'll be here too
Yeah.
to answer as much as I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you for hopping on.